Hello, I'm Humphrey. Thanks a lot. No, really, thanks a lot for buying. I mean, you didn't have to, but you went out and you got your wallet open and you paid that money. And now your friends don't think you're very cool, so you've really stuck your neck out for TISM. This album is called www.tism.wanker.com. Now, the reason for that could be that we're conscious of the computer age and the fact that, we're obviously a technologically advanced band. That could be the reason. It could also be the fact that we wanted to call it OK Computer, but some other band came up with that first. But it's neither of those. The reason we've called it that is because we were told to by our record company, who make all the decisions on our behalf. But anyway, thanks a lot for buying it.
I'm sure you've got one of those fucking 56k modems, having your fucking wanker sitting there with your dick in your hand with your fucking 56k modem, thinking that's better than your other. You go to those computer swap meets, don't you, where the fucking onions in the air and they're all buying hot dogs up the back and they're all stinking, there ain't no girls. If a fucking girl worked into your life, mate, you'd be checking her out for a Pentium chip in the back, wouldn't you? Because you've never met one before. What? That's what you think fucking software is. But software for you is what a girl fucking wears in her bra, because that's the only...
So I'd like to talk about the opening track on www.tism.wanker.com. It's a sensitive little track called There's Gonna Be Sex Tonight. Now, TISM have not really covered the area of sexual union particularly overtly in any of our songs before, but we'd like to share this song with our public because we feel that, love is something that just hasn't been covered enough in rock music. So this is a song about the side of love that is very important and probably not covered.
And I think, Humphrey, the listener will find in the Sex Tonight track the Ted Mullery sample from Jump in My Car. And I'm wondering if you can tell the listener why you picked the Ted Mullery sample to use in this particular track.
Well, I picked the Ted Mullery Gang Jump in My Car sample to use because he, of course, is one of those artists from the 70s that has given us something very, very, solid to take with us into our lives. Yes, that is, of course, the problem of date rape. And he's covered it very sensitively. And, along with other great songs like Love and Other Bruises by Air Supply, I think he's explored the topic in a manner that looks at both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
The way he juxtaposes the male and female voice in the song is a very postmodernist attempt to look at how there are indeed a lot of problems in the way people are educated, and it's education that's at the core.
I think that's what Ted's calling for in Jump in My Car, isn't he? He's calling for more sensitivity, he's calling for more awareness, and I think he's saying to girls, you can do it, There is, if you like, at the end of the track, where the persona is flummoxed by the girl's acceptance of jumping into his car, but then she lived too far away. And I think it's that idea of awayness, apartness, just like Joyce used the idea of going home to Ireland when he was writing from overseas. It was a place apart. It's only when you're apart from something that you can fully see it. And I think when the girl says to Ted, I want to go to a suburb that's too far away, Ted can finally see that it's apart from him and therefore understands the consequences of his actions. Don't you find?
Oh, I agree, and I think that he's clearly saying that no matter how different, how far apart we seem to be, we can all come together because it is all one planet. And, that obviously neatly segues into the second track of...
before we get on to the second track, I'd like to say that all of you out there who haven't got an album called Hot Dogma by a band called TISM, probably best to leave it that way, but that was produced by a man who used to play bass for Ted Mullery. I think I can... that was Kevin Borich. But the whole point I was going to say is he did walk in and Kevin was getting sucked up by two women. So now, what were you saying about the second track?
The second track is a haunting track called What Are You, Yob or Wanker? And it looks at the pluralist society that we live in. And, there are obviously problems still inherent in the way our Western culture is developing. And I think we've explored it very carefully. And we've given the reader, or the listener indeed, a choice.
I think we took the cue there. We took the lead from Quarterzine, whose lyrics exploring the stratification of Western societies in the context of globalisation and the way capitalism, especially capitalism merging from the East Asian tiger economies, even though they don't sort of live at the moment, is taking what used to be the old style values of Australia and overlaying them with a more corporatised view of the world. And I think Cordrazine album is crying out that that corporatised view of the world is something that should be resisted. Taking that, we wrote the searchingly penetrative question, what are you, yobs or wanker? And I'd like to thank Cordrazine for their lead, because without that sort of raising of consciousness, I think what are you, yob or wanker? I don't think we could have thought of that ourselves.
No, that's right. Obviously, Cordrazine are a band from the rich tradition of Australian bands that's brought us such artists as The Poor, More Wine Waiter Please. I mean, clearly that track was in the Cordrazine vein, very much coming from a very sensitive male point of view. More Wine Waiter Please. I mean, if it had been written in the 70s, you know, it probably would have been more about beer.
Yeah.
But, you know, man finding the male is finding it difficult to find his true place in society. You know, is he a more feminine persona than he was led to believe when brought up?
I think they've got that problem in the males too, the highlighting between feminine and masculine.